Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live 10 at 10.
Minnesota college campuses will, for the first time, have to disclose how many sexual assaults they investigate each year. It's a new law starting today in the state. Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
They'll also have to disclose what type of action they took after the assault. The goal, of course, is to fight sexual violence.
Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter, Nicole Johnson, shows us how MSUM is trying to be honest about rape and wants to start a conversation about it.
A new year is about to begin at MSUM. A fresh start after what some call a rocky beginning last year.
Do we have room to grow? You bet. I think we certainly do, but I think that we're honest about it.
Last fall, there were multiple highly publicized rapes on campus. A football player and a wrestler were both convicted.
Wanting to be able to take the step forward and say, you know, we want to own it.
Ashley Atterbury, Director of Student Conduct and Resolution, says it's a good thing the state is starting to place new rules on college campuses across Minnesota about how to deal with sexual assault.
It's not just about investigating, but it's also about paying attention to patterns of behavior, right? Recognizing we need to do better in educating in this area. We need to be better in safety in this area.
Atterbury says they already do a lot of the things the state is now requiring, like a mandated class for all students and an option to report sexual assault online anonymously. What Atterbury says might be a problem for some universities is reporting data about how many sexual assaults happen and what they did about it.
They don't want to admit to it, or they don't want to own it in some way to say, hey, maybe we could do better here. This isn't just a one-time occurrence, right? And when we see institutions who have low numbers in reporting or don't feel like very many students report, I think that's also an opportunity to question, to say, not like, we're doing a good job, right? But to say, how do we have an environment where people feel comfortable to report?
Atterbury hopes the new rules start a conversation about campus violence and change culture across the whole state. Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
MSUM has finalized its policy relating to sexual assault, a policy that was put together by a task force made up of a lot of different community members. If you want to read it or the new Minnesota law, log on to our website, valleynewslive.com. Just click on this story.
I have 4 kids of my own. I just had a real bad gut feeling and made me think of my kids.
An 11 or 12-year-old bicyclist was treated for injuries he received after being hit by a car in Moorhead this afternoon. It happened on the intersection of 21st Street and Highway 10. Although he's taken to the hospital, police say that they believe the injuries received were non-life-threatening.
I see a little boy flying through the air and landed on the ground. We came to a stop and seeing there was a lot of blood, and we called his mom. Grabbed his telephone that was laying on the ground, called his mom, and called 911.
Police are investigating what exactly led up to the crash, saying it was too soon to tell if anyone was at fault.
A man from Park Rapids, Minnesota, has been charged in connection with a crash that left 1 dead. 22-year-old Dakota Walsh is facing felony criminal vehicular homicide charges, as well as a charge of leaving the scene of an accident. 19-year-old Avery Michael, also from Park Rapids, died in the crash. Walsh told police he was driving recklessly when Michael's vehicle rolled and then pinned him underneath. Police say Walsh and Michael were driving separate vehicles on 190th Street outside of Park Rapids. Walsh told police Michael was trying to pass him, but he blocked Michael, and that's when Michael lost control and crashed. Walsh told police he turned around to check on Michael, but freaked out and left the scene without calling law enforcement. Michael's body was found hours later and was pronounced dead at the scene. Walsh's bail has been set at $100,000.
The opioid epidemic continues. Family members as well as local and state officials came to the Fargo City Commission meeting tonight to try to find answers about the crisis in our area. Valley News Team's Giovanna Simic talks with family and friends of loved ones who want something done to help stop the problem.
If there's anybody else in this audience that you personally have been affected by addiction, or you know of friends or family members that are struggling with addiction, if you wouldn't mind just raising your hand and letting me know how many people here know somebody, love somebody, or they have friends. The depression and grief that you suffer, that so many of us do, it's devastating. And, you know, our hearts have been ripped out. Our lives have been torn apart.
Nikki Anderson lost a son and daughter to addiction. Now, she's taking a stand and fighting for those who are too afraid to speak out.
I am charged by my children and the parents and the community of those that are addicted to go forward and help.
Parents I spoke with said the biggest issue is that people don't want to admit that our community has an addiction problem and that more education is necessary, something North Dakota U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp agrees with.
Unfortunately, way too often takes a crisis for everybody to kind of, get that look on their face like, wow, this is really here.
One step the city hopes to take is to have doctors who prescribe opiates to their patients talk to them about the dangers of the drug. Fargo Cass Public Health hired a substance abuse prevention coordinator to help with the problem.
We can't be in denial.
I really hope for acceptance and love and compassion for the addicts and their families.
In Fargo, Giovanna Simic, Valley News Live.
Senator Heitkamp also said the Comprehensive Addiction and Recovery Act that was passed last month in Washington is a vital first step in fighting the opioid abuse addiction problem.
Homeward Animal Shelter celebrated a big birthday today, commemorating 50 years of service to the community. People had a chance to tour the shelter and meet dogs and cats that are in need of a new home. Clifford, the big red dog, even made an appearance. It was a chance for the shelter to say thank you to its customers for helping keep the doors open.
The community is what keeps the doors open and what helps us to rescue, shelter, protect, and rehome these animals until they can find their forever homes.
Homeward Animal Shelter accepts monetary donations as well as animal toys and treats.
If you're looking for a way to keep cool this summer, especially your kids, you might want to try a water balloon fight.
Battle balloon color bursts are water balloons full of dye.
Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop put the As Seen on TV product to the test and found out whether or not they're worth the money.
Balloons colorburst. Regular water balloons are fun, but ones with bright colors inside are a home run.
Battle Balloon Colorburst gives you 120 balloons that are filled with 3 colors and cost $12.99. Allison Stewart is a mom of 2 girls. She says in the summer, they always play around the water, but not often with water balloons.
I think the tying part of it is probably the worst part.
Stewart says she hates the tying of balloons, so she was eager to try the Colorburst balloons that tie themselves.
It will wash out of most fabrics like cotton.
With her 2 girls and their friend excited, we began to fill the balloons just like the directions said.
It seems to be working really well. There were only 2 that didn't inflate on that one, so. Although it does look like there's a lot of dye that's coming out.
Some of the dye leaked out of the balloons, making our bucket the color of the balloons, blue, red, and green. The balloon popped off the wand when filled with water. Some filled larger than others.
Here too, some of them are really small, so we'll see.
It's a water balloon and it's very, very tiny.
Minutes later, the balloon war began. There were some misses and hits to the opponent, but they just bounced.
Okay, they're not popping when they're hitting their shirts.
So we tried aiming at 7-year-old Annika's back to see if it would pop.
Ow! But yeah, it's not popping when it hits them. It's hard. I know.
The girls tried pressing the balloons down on each other as well.
Ready? They're not popping until they hit the ground, or not at all. Like this one got thrown and it still hasn't popped, so.
The girls made their own fun by spraying each other with the balloons, which dyed their shirts.
Looks like rainbow.
You know, water balloons are a lot of fun, but I'm not sure that these are probably worth the price since it didn't really work how the commercial said that it would.
Another note to be aware of, the dye from the balloons did dye the girls' and Stewart's hands.
Oh, what color are your hands? Blue.
She said it eventually came off the skin with some scrubbing. Ashley Bishop, Valley News Live.
I wish they would have asked us to test
right?
that. The white shirts that the girls wore did come clean like the product, and the colors from the water balloons that hit the house and deck did come off after spraying it down with the hose. To see more about this and other products that we've tested, visit this story on our website, valleynewslive.com.